Hey, that's a new intro that I'm working on. It seems that it needs a lot of work. I don't know what to say, but hey, hello, welcome. How are you? I hope you're having a good day. Today I'm going to talk about Graveyard. Yeah, this album is called, it's not called One, it's not Two, it's not even Three, Four, or Five. This record is called Six. That's right, it's by Graveyard. The record is called Six. This one is a little bit different. For one, this is by far, I think, the newest record that I've done. This album just came out 5 days ago, I think, and I got it, and I'm going to talk about it right now. Before I get to it, and let me show you. I've got it right here. There it is, Six, Graveyard. This is a little bit different. This is the Graveyard is undoubtedly, no doubt about it, eh? This is the only, or the band that how can I explain this? That is the most, that I have the shortest history with. Graveyard as a band has only been around since 2008, and I think I first heard them in 2016, 15, somewhere around there. And to be honest, when I first heard that there was a band called Graveyard, and they were from Sweden, and they were on Nuclear Blast, some might say Nuclear Blast Records, I thought, I don't want to listen to that. That's probably like death metal crap, or black metal, or something extreme, or something that I really wasn't interested in. And wow, was I ever wrong, because this band Graveyard is completely unlike that. I think what happened was you shouldn't really judge the band by the name Graveyard. It's so tough and strong, and it's a graveyard. Ooh, it's scary, and you associate that with black metal or death metal or something. And they're on Nuclear Blast Records, also very, very aggressive. They usually have those kind of bands. They have a song called Satan's Finest. They have another song called Evil Ways. And I just thought, this is not a band I want to listen to. And I was totally wrong. And I guess what I did was I prejudged them. You shouldn't do that. It's like an analogy would be something like, if there's a book and you look at the cover of the book and you say, you know what, I don't like this cover. I don't want to read this book, and you put it away. What you're doing there is you're judging the book by the cover. And I think, in my opinion, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. And that's what I did with Graveyard. I was judging them without hearing them based on their name, even their record label, song titles, Satan's Finest and Evil Ways. Very, very stupid on my part, I admit. I was very wrong. So they're not like that. Oh, they're kind of and they have changed. Their first album was more metal or rock, I guess, but not extreme at all. But their last three albums, at least, I don't know, Innocence and Decadence, Peace, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 have been much more kind of hard rock, bluesy. I'll talk about this album in a minute when I get to the track by track. Pretty mellow. So Graveyard is a band that is, don't let the name fool you, I guess is what I'm saying. Now, my history with Graveyard, as I said, I first heard them around 2015 or 16, and when I heard them, the first record that I heard was Innocence and Decadence, whatever year that came out. I thought, oh, this is actually pretty good, and again, totally different from what I was expecting. And then I went back and I listened to Hinsingen Blues. I guess that's how it's pronounced. And the first record. And I thought, I like this band. And then they came to Mexico in 2018 or 19. I think it was 2019. I've got a prop here. I'm looking at my prop here. It is 2019. Also where I got this. This is a Satan's Finest shirt. Now even the shirt, doesn't this look very evil? I mean, it's got the evil goat, and it's got the kind of heavy metal font and everything. But again, forget about all that. So I did see them. I saw Graveyard in 2019. This is my cue to show the prop, and I got this groovy gig poster. They played 3 shows in Mexico. Of course, Guadalajara, Monterrey, and in Mexico City. Cool poster, right? One day, 4 years later, I will get it framed and hang it somewhere around here, along with some others. So I got that poster, and I enjoyed this show. It was very good. And a little story about this Graveyard show when I saw them. This was on May 12th, as you can see. It turns out that was Mother's Day. At least in Mexico, Mother's Day is always on I think it's May 15th or May 10th or something like that. It doesn't matter whether that's a Monday or a Friday or a Sunday. It's always on the same date in Mexico. And I should know that after 17 years. I think it's May 15th. But I'm from Canada, eh? And it's the second Sunday of May. And so it was Mother's Day. So I was in Mexico City that day, and I was talking to my mother on the phone because I'm a good son. And I was, saying Happy Mother's Day and everything and being nice. And I saw Graveyard. And so I was talking about, and I went up to it, and I can't even remember who it was. And I should know this. And I said, hey, I'm coming to see your show tonight. When I'm talking to my mother, it's this indicates that I'm talking on the phone. And I said, I'm talking to my mother in Canada. I'm from Canada, and it's Mother's Day in Canada. Could you do me a favor and just say hello and wish her a happy Mother's Day? Now, the reason I did that was because to my mother, she's almost 80 years old now. So she was, fast math will tell you that at this point she was about 76. And she to my mother, that may as well have been Mick Jagger or Bono or, Madonna or somebody. To her, this was a rock star. And she thought that was very cool that I ran into this guy. It wasn't Joaquin Nielsen. I can't remember who it was. But so anyway, this guy said, hello. I think I told my mother's name is Sharon. Or he said, hello, Sharon. This is, God, I wish I could remember who it was. This is whoever from Graveyard. And I want to say Happy Mother's Day. Your son is here. Blah, blah. So that was kind of cool. So anyway, and now this is the first money that I've spent on Graveyard, at least on their recordings. I've downloaded all their albums, but I've never bought any of their CDs or records. This is the first one. As I said, it just came out last Friday. I thought, hey, I'm gonna since I'm on this vinyl kick, which I think is coming to an end, at least the buying. I've got a stockpile in front of me. God, if you could see how many albums I'm going to talk about in this series. I thought, yeah, you know what, why not? And this is, I guess, really the first new record that I did way back. I did Metallica 72 Seasons, which is kind of what started this current binge that I'm on. But anyway, so that's Graveyard 6, and I think I will go through it track by track right now. Now, I've only listened to it 3 times. I've listened to it full 3 times, and I'm not familiar enough to really talk about it too much. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. I think I've done this maybe twice. I've written some notes just when I listen to this. I listened to it once, just straight through, just to listen to it. I listened to it again to kind of take notes about it, and then listen to it a 3rd time, again, just to, let it sink in a little bit. So I will have to cheat and refer to my notes when I talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by Graveyard. And there it is there on Nuclear Blast Records right there. There's the hype sticker. This says, this hype sticker is not specific to Graveyard. This is, I guess, for all their records. This is a white/sky blue marbled vinyl. Very exciting. All right. And there's the back of it. And Graveyard always seems to have, at least on their last 3 albums, kind of a greenish tint, a greenish color scheme they have on Innocence and Decadence, which I would say is a masterful album. And Peace, and now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there it is. And this is a picture of the band. Usually they have pictures. Sometimes they have pictures, current pictures of the band. Sometimes they might have old pictures of the band. This is a future picture of the band. This is how the band is going to look at some point. They're going to look like this, I guess. Maybe I'll see in the liner notes. Maybe it's going to explain something about this picture. So I will open it up right now. There, I don't know what's inside. And I think this is, no, not I think, this is, no, is it? It's definitely my first Nuclear Blast record. I've bought a few things from Nuclear Blast. And this, one last thing about Graveyard, I kind of get into them at the point that I was listening to these kind of newer bands around the same time, within a few years of each other. Cadaver was a little bit, I think I have a delivery here. I do have a delivery here. Let me get back to that. Should I show the, this is DHL that's delivering this. This is a few times I've had a live delivery. Yeah, he's calling me now. There he is. All right. All right. Let me go get this this package from DHL. This will be featured next. I'm not even going to show it now. Usually I wait to do these. This will be in the next video. I don't know when that will be, but this will be the next one. Keep that in mind. You will be tested. So getting back to Graveyard, as I said, I got into Graveyard around the time as Cadaver, Scorpion Child, The Shrine, and I guess maybe, I don't know, Monolord, I guess you could say around that same time. Radio Moscow, kind of a newer breed of music that I get into, and that I like it. Anyway, so as I said, I will open this now. Well, it's cut open, but I will unsheath. That's what I'm doing right now. And there it is. All right. With the nice green style. And let me see what all right. Is there something else in there? Ah, there's a separate insert. Okay. All right. So there's the insert. And by the way, as I said, this album is called Six. Let me put that down for a second. Isn't that a little bit lazy, you know, when bands either call the record after, you know, it's their sixth album, obviously. Who else had that? Leave a comment down below. Who had a record that was the number of the sequential, the ordinal number? I don't know how you'd say it. I mean, obviously Van Halen had 1 and 2, Led Zeppelin had 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, but who else had a record that with a number that represented? Pearl Jam had 10. That doesn't count. It wasn't their 10th record. That was Mookie Blaylock. Y&T also had 10 because it was their 10th record. But I think it's a little bit lazy, you know? Isn't it lacking creativity? Similar to self-titled records other than the first record. Metallica had great success with that, calling the Black Album just Metallica. King's X, like their 5th album is called King's X. Pearl Jam, I think around the same. Their 5th or 6th album is also called just Pearl Jam. I think the self-titled and the numbered albums, it's a little bit lazy. All right. Doesn't change anything. So this is, all right, this is good. As I've said, give me lyrics, give me something. And this does have that. It's got the lyrics and it's got this, this funny picture. I don't know what that is. And I don't know who this guy is, but he's cleaning his toes. I don't know, it seems maybe he has a real case of toe jam. He's giving himself some maintenance there. And so here's the record. And if you'd like to see what it looks like, all right, I have to say, it is nice looking. I don't really care if it's black or blue or any color, but it is nice looking. I'll give it that. And this is called, what did they call this? White/sky blue marble, I think is what it's called. It's nice. Well done. Nuclear Blast. All right. So getting to this track by track. Now the first track is called Godnatt. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's in freaky deaky Swedish, so I'm not sure. But it's Godnatt, which I assume is good night in Swedish. And I got to go to the notes if I'm going to do this. So this is a unique opener in that, you know, most rock bands, especially hard rock, whatever, metal bands, whatever, they open with a real rocker. Godnatt is, it's very far from rock. It's actually kind of a quiet, very mellow, of which there are a lot of songs like that on this album. Again, I've only listened to this 3 times, so I don't have too much to say. But it's just a quiet, mellow song. And I think the singer, Joakim Nilsson, he's got kind of 2 voices. He's got the voice that he uses here on Godnatt, and a couple of other songs. That he's very kind of a low, I guess, baritone voice that he sings generally with the quieter, mellow songs. And that's how he sings this one. So that's it for Godnatt. God, I always have to say it twice. Speaking of twice, the second song is called Twice. Now this one is very different. This one is a rocker, which I like it. I like being a little bit different. You don't have to open with, some people might say, guns a-blazing. I don't think it's necessary. Open with a quiet one. That's good. Now the opening of this song totally reminded me of, there's a song called Fireworks by a band called The Tragically Hip, which probably very few people who are watching this, I know there are very few people who watch this in general, but I don't know how many, maybe Dallas, if he's watching this, of course he knows the Tragically Hip, but Fireworks is a Tragically Hip song, and the opening riff of Twice totally reminded me of Fireworks by Tragically Hip, which I love that song. You said you didn't give a fuck about hockey. I never saw someone say that before. We all squeezed the trick. We all squeezed the trick. We all squeezed the stick, and we all pulled the trigger. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about Tragically Hip. Maybe at some point I will, but not today. So in this song, Joaquin sings with more of his, his rocker, his kind of gruff, aggressive voice, which he generally does with the more rock songs. And then his quiet voice is the quiet voice is more for the quiet songs, as you might expect. Track 3 is called I Follow You. This starts with the intro of the song and his quiet, the intro of the song is kind of a quiet intro, the first minute or so, I'm not sure, and he sings quietly, and then as Paul Stanley would say, now it gets rough, and then it becomes this is my favorite song on this album, at least so far, after only 3 listens. This one stood out to me the most. It becomes this real kind of riff. It's not a heavy song, but it is definitely riff-driven. Really reminded me of some parts of the song. Totally reminded me of Purple Sage by Cadaver. And this song, I thought it felt like it should be on. One other thing about this album, I think the whole album is it's less than 40 minutes. Maybe it's 37, 38, 39 minutes. Which I've mentioned before, I love short albums. 32 minutes, that's perfectly fine with me. I think the longest song on this record is maybe around 5.5, 5:40, somewhere around there. But this song, I felt like it feels like it just should be longer. I think there's another one that's like that too. But I Follow You, at this point, is my favorite song. That is subject to change with repeated listens. The next song, track 4, is called Breathe In, Breathe Out. Not like that Bush song. I think it's Machine Head where he says breathe in, breathe out. This is not a cover of Bush. This is another kind of a quiet song, a little bit mellow. It's got female backing vocals, which I really like. Gives it a different flair, a different atmosphere, a different vibe, a different energy. Call it what you will. And they had a song on Innocence and Decadence called Too Much Is Never Enough. Yeah, I think Too Much Is Never Enough. That also had female backing vocals, and I really like it. As I said, I don't know if it's the same women. I don't know if it says something about this in the liner notes. I'm not going to check that now. But yeah, I really like the female. Too Much Is Never Enough. Too Much Is Not Enough. Yeah, I like it. I like that. Anything else about this song? Now this one. I said I noticed that the last couple of minutes. Sorry, the middle part, I think, of this song, or some part of this song, totally reminded me of, the long instrumental part of Light My Fire by The Doors. There's no way this was not intentional. When they were recording this song, they must have said, hey, we're gonna have a long musical interlude, and we're gonna make it like Light My Fire. And I love it. That's not a complaint. I'm not crying ripoff. I'm saying I really like it. And this, I think, is another one that feels like it should be longer. Maybe because Light My Fire is like 7.5 minutes, somewhere around there. Maybe that makes me feel like this song, Breathe In, Breathe Out, should be longer. Next is Sad Song. This is another quiet one. This is 1, 2, maybe 4 out of 5 are kind of mellow, quiet songs. No problem. I'm just pointing that out. And I don't know. I'm sure this is a different singer. I don't know who it is, but I'm almost positive it's not Joaquin, unless he's got a third voice. I'll maybe have to check the liner notes, but Sad Song, number 5. And there are 9 tracks on this album, by the way. 6 is called Just a Drop. This one, it starts off kind of slow, and as the first verse, progresses through the first 30, 40, 50 seconds of the song, it gets a little bit faster, a little bit more aggressive. Through the first verse, from the intro through the first verse, it gets faster, more aggressive. And then again, as Paul Stanley says, now it gets rough. And it becomes a little bit of a more, it's not a heavy song, but they are a little bit more, a little bit more rockin', let's say. And then the last three songs, and I'll do them one by one, but they're all fairly similar, same vibe. Number 7 is called Bright Lights, and it's just a quiet, mellow, gentle song. None of these are ballads, to be clear. They're not love songs or ballady. They're kind of bluesy, quiet songs. But this one, Bright Lights, is quiet and mellow all throughout. It doesn't get rough. Track 8 is No Way Out. I think this one, no, I think this one is definitely quiet again. I think this one got a little bit rougher, just maybe a little bit towards the end, just a little bit. 8, No Way Out. And now the last song, number 9, Rampant Fields. This was the longest song. As I said, it's 5.5 or 5:40, something like that. This is kind of a bluesy, again, quiet song. I think there's a little bit of it that maybe gets a little bit, where Joaquin switches to his more rough voice. But that's it. So I'd say 3, 4, 5, 6, really 7 of these songs you could say are kind of quiet-ish songs, and a couple of ones that I would say are more rocker. Yeah, that's it. No record in here. It's down here. So I like this record. I'm don't know I'm not nearly familiar enough with Graveyard to say it's their best or among their best. I think Innocence and Decadence, as I said, is pretty close to masterful. I don't know if I'll like it that much, but I do like it. So there it is, Graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.